Hello everyone, my name is Shane, and in this video we're going to be doing an unboxing and I'm going to give my first impressions on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. This phone is available for pre-order at the time of this video. I'll have some links in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. The retail price is $1,900. This comes in 5 different colors. We have this pink, a navy, this silver shadow we're going to be checking out here today. There's also 2 Samsung.com exclusive colors, this white and this crafted black with a textured backing. And there's a few different configurations of this fold. We have the standard 256 gigabytes and upgraded 512 gigabytes, which is what everybody will get during the pre-order phase as a free storage upgrade. And it goes up to 1 terabyte of storage. And all of these storage options come packed with 12 gigabytes of RAM. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and check out the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Shout out to Samsung for sending out this review unit ahead of time. So on top, we have our device. See what else we got in the box. Inside the box, we have a USB Type-C to Type-C charging cable. We have a very little bit of paperwork and a SIM ejection tool, but that's everything inside the box. Let's go ahead and check out the star of the show here, the Galaxy Z Fold 6. First impressions immediately out of the packaging. This is a really premium looking and feeling device. As far as the silver shadow color, can turn a little bit darker or a little bit lighter depending on your lighting conditions. Let's go ahead and fold the fold for the first time. Really nice, smooth, and very easy opening experience here. So actually opens a lot easier compared to the previous folds. You can see that when you just first start to open it, it kind of opens up already halfway for you really easily. You will also notice right off the bat that this is a much boxier design of fold for the first time. So looking at the fold 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can see here that they have a much more rounded finish on their sidings and corners, whereas here on this fold 6, definitely more of a squared off rectangular design. But this is going to give us a slightly larger outer screen and a different aspect ratio on the inside here. On the sides, we have our fingerprint sensor, our volume rockers, and our 5G antenna. Have our SIM slot here. In the SIM tray, it looks like we have room for just 1 SIM card here. It looks like another one could fit here, but it does say in really small print, no card. So I'm not sure why we have this extra slot here. This could be a dual SIM setup in other countries or regions, but at least for here in the US, looks like we have 1 physical SIM card slot. On the top, we have 3 mics and our new speaker cutout grill design we've been seeing on all of Samsung's new phones this year. On the bottom, we have another speaker, another mic, and our Type-C port capable of 25 watt super fast charging. And of course, on our left side, we have our hinge, a very nice matte finish here. Again, a very premium feeling phone. Looking at a side by side between last year's Fold 5 and this Fold 6, I don't really see too much of a difference in the hinge. Usually this trims down in size a lot over each generation, but it looks to be pretty similar here. And as far as a gap on this Fold 6, there's really no gap at all this time, except for just here near the hinge. You can see through there just a little bit. You can actually see just the slightest bit of gap still here on last year's Fold 5. There is this new lining, if you can see it, between the 2 halves of the phone. So that lining seems to be covering up at least any visual gap. And this bit of an extra seal should hopefully protect the phone's inner display from any bigger pieces of particles and dust. And to go along with this extra protection here of the inner display, we also have an official dust rating this year, an IP48 water and dust resistance rating. So a nice new updated design and feel, a lot more protection, and most notably, the weight has been significantly reduced on this Fold 6. So if I put my Fold 6 on the scale, 242 grams. Let's put my Fold 5 on here, 255 grams. So another 13 gram reduction, which for more points of reference, our Fold 4, 267 grams. You want to take it as far back as the Fold 3 and the Fold 2, might as well. 276 grams. And then on that Fold 2, we're at 284 grams. So it might not sound like a lot on paper. It can be hard to decipher this through a video, but the weight reduction is drastically reduced here once again on this Fold 6. It has an excellent lightweight feel for being such a thick and bulky device in the hand. We have a new camera design here compared to all the previous folds. So here's a look at the Fold 5. Personally, I really enjoyed just these clean, simple camera setups that have been consistently here on these folds over the generation. generations. It's kind of interesting to see such a drastic change where just one of these camera lenses is changing. The ultra wide lens has gotten drastically improved on this. I'm a huge fan of all the physical changes and refinements made here, probably with the exception of the camera array. But now taking our first look at the new 6.3-inch outer display here on the Fold 6. If you compare this to the Fold 5, you can see that the bezel's definitely reduced on the top and the bottom, so we have more screen real estate thanks to that, but there also has been a slight aspect ratio change, so I believe there's been 1 millimeter or so added to the width of this outer screen. This is a noticeable change in my eyes here in person as far as this outer screen just having more real estate and just more usability. So I am definitely looking forward to running this outer display through its paces in this video. Let's go ahead and check out the inner display since this also got a change because of that outer display changing. You can really see the new squared off design a lot better here. So looking at the top of my Fold 5, bottom of my Fold 6 here, you can see that there is definitely a bit of width adjustment here because of having that wider outer display as a result. Looking at the height of these phones, they look to be just about the same. So we really just have a width difference here. And it's also worth mentioning that these rails here along the bezels, they now have a matte finish compared to the glossy finish that's been on all the previous generation Folds. So you can see here that it does provide a little less glare when you are looking at this phone in some of my lighting conditions here. I'll take this out in direct sunlight later. And it's also worth mentioning that once again, the crease has been significantly reduced on this Fold 6 over here on the left. Now, granted, my Fold 5 has been getting opened and closed for a year now. Physically, you can really feel this crease when you run your finger over it, whereas on this Fold 6, you still can see the crease, but physically you barely feel it now. You really don't even notice it when I'm running my finger over it. But with all that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead, put my personal SIM in this phone, use it for the day, and come back with my final first impressions on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. All right, so it's actually been a couple days now since I first started using this Fold 6. I'm definitely ready to share some of my first impressions with you guys. So starting with getting into the phone, the biometrics, we have face recognition on here. It works really quickly. It gets you in pretty much instantly, no problems at all. And then of course we have the side mounted fingerprint sensor. I absolutely love this. Just gets you into the phone instantly, every single time. This also works well for my middle finger, my left hand. If I want to just get in when I grab the phone with my left hand, just rest your finger right on there, gets you in. Now with the new boxier design of this Fold 6, I did notice if you hold it in one hand, in your left hand specifically, you will have the phone dig into your hand a bit. You do feel that sharp corner. But if you use this in your right hand, one-handed, you won't have any problems at all with that. It's a really comfortable feel. It's just over here on the left side, that left corner. Now, probably the biggest change with this Fold 6 from last year's Fold 5 is this outer display. So again, I know on paper it's not a massive difference and it's just a slight bezel reduction and a slight screen increase. And the most noteworthy change with this wider outer display is we have a much more usable keyboard here on this outer display compared to the Fold 5s. Every little bit of extra spacing that you have does definitely go a long way here. So let's see here. It is much easier for me to type with two hands on this outer display. So it is really easy for me to type on this. I'm really enjoying this slightly larger screen, but it isn't something that is super massive. So we still have what in my eyes is a great symmetry of a nicely sized outer display. And then again, just super easy to jump into this inner display. And then the next biggest change with this Fold 6 is that reduced weight. So using it over the past couple days, I can confirm that the lighter weight, it actually does make a huge difference for me personally. I'm just way more likely to pick this device up more often. And again, just easily jump into this outer display. And when it comes to the inner displays, honestly, not a massive difference here. I did do a lot of close inspection in preparation for this video of the crease, since I know that's a big talking point for a lot of people. And after taking these outside, looking at them very closely side by side, and also just using them in my average everyday use here at home, in my studio lights, and just in average everyday environments, I have noticed that you still do see the crease on the Fold 6. So the crease is certainly not gone. It's just slightly less noticeable. And for whatever it's worth, when you run your finger over it, you don't notice it nearly as much as on my Fold 5. However, this isn't as much of a big deal for me personally on the Folds because I'm not really running my finger over that middle area of the screen nearly as much as I am on my Flip 6. So the crease reduction on the Flip 6 is arguably much better. Really the biggest change with the inner display is this new boxy design, which personally I actually really like this now now that I've been using it for a couple of days. The overall look, design, feel, construction of this Fold 6 is extremely premium. It looks really nice with the matte on the sidings and the matte backing. We do have just one change here on this Fold 6 camera setup compared to the Fold 5, and that is the new ultra wide, the 50 megapixel ultra wide camera. So I have the Fold 5 over here on the right, Fold 6 on the left. This is the same exact picture taken at the same time. You can see here that the Fold 6 captures the sunset a lot better. And then stepping it up a notch on the Fold 6, this is the same picture now taken with the 50 megapixel mode turned on. So you're really going to see a lot of detail difference now between these two. But this is initially really the biggest difference I've been able to find between the two camera setups. If you like to take a lot of low light videography and photography, you're going to get much better results here with the ultra wide camera, at least here on the Fold 6. And the final two things worth mentioning with this Fold 6 in my initial use that I've already noticed is the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor and the battery life. Everything just feels extremely smooth and snappy on this phone. I've been really enjoying the processor here. Everything is just instant and snappy. Whatever it is you want to do on this phone, everything you do on this phone is just literally instant and super snappy, and I've been very happy with the performance so far initially. And lastly, sharing my first battery cycle on this Fold 6, I was able to get 8 hours of screen on time over the course of 2 days. So you can see here 3 hours of screen on time yesterday, and then the day before that I had about 5 hours of screen on time. I would say this was a mixed use case. I had a few hours of watching YouTube, an hour of some productivity in Excel. I only did a little bit of gaming on this first use case, which I'll just mention it now briefly. The gaming experience, very good on this Fold 6. I'm liking this more squared off design when it comes to playing games and just kind of viewing the whole screen at once. But with all that in mind, first impressions here, really impressed with the Galaxy Z Fold 6 initially. Overall, a lot of refinements going on with this Fold 6. If you have a Fold 5 currently, I would say it's probably not worth the upgrade unless you're going to be trading in this Fold 5 directly to Samsung and getting the $1,200 off to go towards this, in addition to whatever other pre-order incentives Samsung has going on currently. But if you're coming from a Fold 2 or a Fold 3, you're definitely going to notice this outer display difference and have just a lot of good refinements with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, brighter display, and just really nice premium looking and feeling design. I'll have Samsung's best deals on this Fold 6 whenever you're watching this video down in the description. I'm going to be making a lot more videos on this Fold 6, some more in-depth reviews coming up very soon, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, and thanks so much for watching. Take care.